experience like membership. What do our members do? So the same way we go into a cell phone store, Verizon store, the first thing they do is have you log in your cell phone on a tablet. They're basically marking that you came in, especially if you just turned around and walked out. Even if you just browsed and you went on phone case and left, bought nothing, they marked you and tagged you it's a touch point. So you have to look at dealerships instead of meeting a receptionist, put in your phone and information so people know every time you actually made landfall at any sort of retail operation that is owned by the brand. The other thing is, look, Toyota, Lexus sponsor a lot of events. You start to look at, well, we need to know what our members do beyond servicing and buying a car. Do they go to concerts we sponsor? Do they go to arenas that we sponsor? We need to capture the information. We need to start to map their movement because people tend to live in very recognizable patterns 5-7 miles from their home. You know, where they take the kids to school, they go to the nail salon, they go to the grocery store, stuff like that. Dealership hopefully is a little further, but largely for the most people it's 15 miles away. You need to start to map their movement to understand what does membership look like and what are other places are they members of. Because I think when Amazon figured out, hey, you can just return stuff at a Whole Foods, they started looking at their foot traffic patterns and say, hey, everybody doesn't want to go to FedEx or UPS to return something. Just go drop it off at another property or a business we own and we'll handle it from there. Drop it off in a locker. The same way they're going to use mom and pop flower shops. They look at it as membership and make ease of returns and all this so like intimate that you could almost walk down the street and handle it versus how we used to do it in the 80s, 90s, and early 2000s. I think that is the promise of looking at immersion the physical and digital is understand from a physical scape, from a hardscape perspective, where do our members go? Where do they participate? Where do they put time in? And what of those are owned and operated or in partnership and affiliate with us that we now can use as a point, as an opportunity to solve something or upsell something or cross-sell something. And I think that's what you have to start to look at. You're trying to, and I hate to say it, you're trying to wire up the members as if you're kind of tracking them, but to understand what they do, to how to better service them and what their journeys look like around beyond the dealership experience, to understand what are other touch points that can now be complementary. But what other points of interest do you want to tag? Because that's now an opportunity to essentially engage them. And that's beyond the storefront and even within the storefront where you just want to understand their movement between service and sales, and if a dealership is having a reception and inviting guests, or you're throwing some of your customers tickets because you have a suite at a stadium and that they actually went and attended a Knicks game or something. I think that's what we have to start to look at in a greater experience design. What we need to start to monitor and understand that could change how the enterprises approaches servicing them.